Hi, it's Sue. Thanks for joining me for today's Bible reading for April 7th, and I'm reading 2 Samuel 8 through 12 today from the World English Bible. Verse 1. After this, David struck the Philistines and subdued them, and David took the bridle of the mother city out of the hand of the Philistines. He struck Moab and measured them with a line, making them to lie down on the ground, and he measured 2 lines to put to death and 1 full line to keep alive. The Moabites became servants to David and brought tribute. David struck also Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, the king of Zobah, as he went to recover his dominion at the river. David took from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. David hamstrung all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. When the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David struck 22,000 men of the Syrians. Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David and brought tribute. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem. From B.Th and from B.Th, cities of Hadadezer, King David took a great quantity of brass. When Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had struck all the army of Hadadezer, then Toi sent Joram his son to King David to greet him and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and struck him. For Hadadezer had wars with Toi. Joram brought with him vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and vessels of brass. King David also dedicated these to Yahweh with the silver and gold that he dedicated of all the nations which he subdued, of Syria, of Moab, of the children of Ammon, of the Philistines, of Amalek, and of the plunder of Hadadezer, son Rehob, king of Zobah. Now, did you notice, and this isn't the only incidence for this type of thing, it says that Joram brought vessels of silver, gold, and brass. Well, those were extremely valuable. I mean, that's why he's bringing it as a gift for the king, right? So do you think he just threw them in a backpack over his shoulder and walked over there or rode over there? Probably not. He probably had a company with him to protect him and guard him. I mean, there were potential robbers and bands of outlaws, that type of thing. Maybe stronger kings that would have loved to have that gold, silver, and brass. So what I'm saying is there's more behind some of these sentences than you get in the description. So that's one of the reasons why it's good to slow down and meditate on the word, not just read it, but have a study time where we can just kind of mull it over and think about it and do the word studies and look up the history in the background. So I just wonder how many men went with Joram when he brought all this to King David. Verse 13. David earned a reputation when he returned from striking down 18,000 men of the Syrians in the Valley of Salt. He put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom he put garrisons, and all the Edomites became servants to David. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. David reigned over all Israel, and David executed justice and righteousness for all his people. That's important too. It wasn't just justice, it was justice and righteousness. So his judicial system was righteous. It was according to, how do you decide what's right and wrong? Well, according to the standard of righteousness. So it says he executed justice and righteousness for all his people. Joab the son of Zeruiah was over the army. Jehoshaphat the son of Ahilud was recorder. Zadok the son of Ahitub and Ahimelech the son of Abiathar were priests. Sarai was scribe. Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the Cherethites, and the Pelethites, David's sons, were chief ministers. David said, "Is there yet any who is left of Saul's house, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Okay, so remember, he had a covenant with Jonathan, so he's wondering, am I keeping my agreement? Am I keeping my covenant? So he said, "Is there anyone still alive from that family?" There was of Saul's house a servant whose name was Ziba, and they called him to David. And the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" He said, "I am your servant." The king said, "Is there not yet any of Saul's house, that I may show the kindness of God to him?" Ziba said to king, "Jonathan still has a son who is lame in his feet." The king said to him, "Where is he?" Ziba said to the king, "Behold, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, in Lodebar." Then King David sent and brought him out of the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, from Lodebar. Wish I could remember. If you heard me the other day, I said there was a message that I heard one time about whatever we were reading about the other day, and it stuck with me. Oh, it was the pursue, overtake, and recover all. And now here's this one on Lodi Bar, and I don't remember who preached that message, but I've never forgotten Lodi Bar because of that preacher. That's a good preacher when they, teach you something that you never forget. But anyway, in this story, remember, um, well, let's go on with the story here. I won't go on that rabbit trail. So verse 5. Then King David sent and brought him out of the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, from Lodibar. Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David and fell on his face and showed respect. Now remember, Mephibosheth survived when his nanny, I believe it was, hid him when there was an attack on the household and all of them were killed, but he escaped. So he was the only son that escaped. And when she was running to hide him, she fell and he was hurt, and that's how he became lame. So, so David found him years later, and it says, David said, Mephibosheth. He answered, Behold your servant. David said to him, Don't be afraid of him, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan your father's sake, and will restore to you the land of Saul your father. You will eat bread at my table continually. He bowed down and said, What is your servant that you should look at such a dead dog as I am? Then the king called Ziba, Saul's servant, and said to him, All that belonged to Saul and to all his house I have given to your master's son. Till the land for him, you and your sons and your servants. Bring in the harvest that your master's son may have bread to eat. But Mephibosheth, your master's son, will always eat bread at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, According to all that my lord the king commands his servant, so your servant will do. So Mephibosheth ate at the king's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. All that lived in Ziba's house were servants to Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, for he ate continually at the king's table. He was lame in both his feet. So there you go. He gave him a retirement plan out of the blue. He recollected his inheritance from his father Saul. Chapter 10. After this, the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his place. David said, I will show kindness to Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness to me. So David sent by his servants to comfort him concerning his father. David's servants came to the land of the children of Ammon, but the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanun their lord, Do you think that David honors your father in that he has sent comforters to you? Hasn't David sent his servants to you in search of the city to spy it out and overthrow it? Don't you get bugged by suspicious people who don't trust anyone? Have you ever had your motives questioned and be falsely accused when you're just trying to be nice and people think you have these ulterior motives? Has that ever happened to you? It's happened to me multiple times throughout the years. Um, so that's what they're doing. They're casting suspicion on David's motives, listening to a demon in their ear is what they're doing. So he said, So Hanun took David's servants, shaved off half of their beards, cut their garments in the middle, even to the buttocks, and sent them away. When they told David this, he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly ashamed. The king said, Wait at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return. When the children of Ammon saw that they had become odious to David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-rehob and the Syrians of Zobah, 20,000 footmen, and the king of Makkah with 1,000 men, and the men of Tob, 12,000 men. When David heard it, he sent Joab and all the army of the mighty men. The children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array at the entrance of the gate. The Syrians of Zobah and Rebob and the men of Tob and Makkah were by themselves in the field. Now when Joab saw that the battle was set against him before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians. The rest of the people he committed into the hand of Abishai his brother, and put them in array against the children of Ammon. He said, If the Syrians are too strong for me, then you will help me. But if the children of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come and help you. Be courageous, and let us be strong for our people, for the cities of our God, and may Yahweh do what seems good to him. So Joab and the people who were with him came near to the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. When the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians had fled away, they likewise fled before Abishai and entered into the city. Then Joab returned from the children of Ammon and came to Jerusalem. When the Syrians saw that they were defeated by Israel, they gathered themselves together. Hadadezer sent and brought out the Syrians who were beyond the river, and they came to Helam, and Shabak, the captain of the army of Hadadezer, at their head. David was told that, and he gathered all Israel together, passed over the Jordan, and came to Helam. The Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him. The Syrians fled before Israel, and David killed 700 charioteers of the Syrians and 40,000 horsemen, and struck Shobach, the captain of their army, so that he died there. When all the kings who were servants to Hadadezer saw that they were defeated before Israel, they made peace with Israel and served them. So the Syrians were afraid to help the children of Ammon any more. At the return of the year, at the time when kings go to war, David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David stayed at Jerusalem. At evening, David rose from his bed and walked on the roof of the king's house. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful to look at. David sent and inquired after the woman. One said, "Isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, Uriah the Hittite's wife?" David sent messengers and took her, and she came into him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned to her house. The woman conceived and sent and told David, and said, "I am with child." David sent to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." Joab sent Uriah to David. When Uriah had come to him, David asked him, David asked him how Joab did, and how people fared, and how the war prospered. David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." Uriah departed out of the king's house, and a gift from the king was sent after him. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and didn't go down to his house. When they had told David, saying, "Uriah didn't go down to his house," David said to Uriah, "Haven't you come from a journey? Why didn't you go to your house?" Uriah said to David, "The ark, Israel, and Judah are staying in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in an open field. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As you live, and as your soul lives, I will not do this thing." David said to Uriah, "Stay here today also, and tomorrow I will let you depart." So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem that day, and the next day, when David had called him, he ate and drank before him and made him drunk. At evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of the Lord, but didn't go down to his house. In the morning David wrote a letter to Joab and set it by the hand of Uriah. He wrote in the letter, saying, "Send Uriah to the forefront of the hottest battle, and retreat from him, that he may be struck and die." When Joab kept watch of the city, he assigned Uriah to the place where he knew that valiant men were. The men of the city went out and fought with Joab. Some of the people fell, even David's servants, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and commanded the messenger, saying, "When you have finished telling all these things concerning the war to the king, it shall be that if the king's wrath arise, and he asks you, 'Why did you go near to the city to fight? Didn't you know that all would shoot from the wall? Who struck Abimelech, the son of Jerubasheth? Didn't a woman cast an upper millstone on him from the wall, so that he died at Davies? Why did you go so near the wall?' And then you shall say, 'Your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead.'" So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. The messenger said to David, "The men prevailed against us and came out into the field, and we were on them even to the entrance of the gate. The shooters shot at your servants from off the wall, and some of the king's servants are dead, and your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead." Then David said to the messenger, "Tell Joab, don't let this thing displease you, for the sword devours one as well as another. Make your battle stronger against the city and overthrow it. Encourage him." When Uriah's wife heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. When the morning was past, David sent and took her home to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased Yahweh. Yahweh sent Nathan to David, the prophet, that is. He came to him and said to him, "There were two men in the city, one rich and one poor. The rich man had many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb, which he bought and raised. It grew together with him and with his children. It ate of his own food and drank his own cup and lay in his own bosom. It was like a daughter to him. A traveler came to the rich man and spared to take of his flock and of his own herd to prepare for the wayfaring man who had come to him, but took the poor man's lamb and prepared it for the man who had come to him." David's anger burned against the man, and he said to Nathan, "As Yahweh lives, the man who has done this deserves to die. He must restore the lamb fourfold, because he has done this thing and because he has no pity." Nathan said to David, "You are the man. This is what Yahweh, the God of Israel, says. I anointed you king over Israel and delivered you out of the hand of Saul. I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your bosom, and you gave the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that would have been too little, I would have added to you many more such things. Why have you despised Yahweh's word to do that which is evil in his sight? You have struck Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and have taken his wife to be your wife, and have slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword will never depart from your house, because you have despised me, and have taken Uriah the Hittite's wife to be your wife. This is what Yahweh says. Behold, I will raise up evil against you, and out of your own house I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he will lie with your wives in the sight of the sun. For you did this secretly, but I will do this openly before all Israel and before the sun. David said to Nathan, and I have sinned against Yahweh. Nathan said to David, Yahweh also has put away your sin. You will not die. However, because of this deed, you have given great occasion to Yahweh's enemies to blaspheme. The child who is born to you will surely die. Nathan departed to his house. Yahweh struck the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, and it was very sick. David therefore begged God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night on the ground. The elders of his house arose beside him to raise him up from the earth, and he would not, and he didn't eat bread with them. On the seventh day the child died. David's servants were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spoke to him, and he didn't listen to our voice. How will he then harm himself if we tell him that the child is dead? But when David saw that his servants were whispering together, David perceived that the child was dead. And David said to his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. Then David arose from the earth, washed and anointed himself, and changed his clothing, and came to Yahweh's house and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and when he requested, they set before him bread, and he ate. Then his servants said to him, What is this that you have done? You fasted and wept for the child while he was alive, but when the child was dead, you rose up and ate bread. He said, While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, Who knows whether Yahweh will not be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead, why should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will never return to me. David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went into her and lay with her, and she bore a son, and called his name Solomon. Yahweh loved him, and sent him by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he named him Jedediah for Yahweh's sake. Now Joab fought against Rabbah, the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah. Yes, I have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called by my name. David gathered all the people together and went into Rabbah and fought against it and took it. He took the crown of their king from off his head, and its weight was a talent of gold, and in it were precious stones, and it was set on David's head. He brought a great quantity of plunder out of the city. He brought out the people who were in it and put them under the saws, under the picks, under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brick kiln, and he did so to all the cities of the children of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. Well, that's it for today's reading. Be sure to check the the description for links, including how to get your free Bible and the Bible Project overview for this book, which is very helpful, and any other links there you want to take advantage of. God bless you. Till tomorrow.